Hey, this is Jeff Shore. You want to be fantastic at execution? You better start by asking why. So we're starting a series here on execution and how we execute properly. And as we start the series, we really have to ask ourselves the question, all right, well, if we want to execute properly, what exactly does that mean? What does execution look like for us? And I believe that more than anything else, if we want to execute properly on our daily tasks, on a special project, whatever it is that we have to do, that it's going to begin with the very important principle called goal clarity. When we have goal clarity, it frees us up to be able to think through what the specific steps are. And really, when you think about execution, that's what it is. We talk about executing on those specific steps. And when that clarity is really clear on why you're doing what you're doing, then it makes the execution so much more valuable. So let's think, for example, of somebody who's a service worker in a third world country, or perhaps in this country, but in a very, very poor area. And they're in an area where it's not fun. Okay, it is not fun. People are hungry and diseased, and there are all kinds of issues that need to be dealt with there. That does not sound like a fun task. So how does that servant execute properly? How do we know what steps to take? Well, it begins with goal clarity. When I'm asking myself the question, why am I doing this in the first place? What is the end game? Then it helps me to back up and say, great, what are the steps to get there? All too often we look at it and we say, okay, we want to have a program here to increase the effectiveness of communication with customers in the buying cycle. Great. All right, you got a program, you want to execute on it. Can I start with this question? Why? Why do you want to do this? Why is this important? If you get a sense of the end game, it is so much easier to identify the appropriate steps of execution. You see, oftentimes we look and we say, here's the program, here's the objective, this is what I want to do, go. And that's really a ready, fire, aim type of mentality. But we get really, really clear on what the goal is, and more important, on why the goal is, then those steps to goal clarity are going to come into play. So I'm going to ask you to think about that. A project, an initiative, or some process that you want to improve upon, that you know could be better, that you know could make a difference. Before you start rolling out the question of what to do, ask the far more important question of why you want to do this. Great execution begins with goal clarity. Get the goal clarity right, and all the steps will fall into place thereafter.